Good morning to you all, and welcome to the John and Ant Show. I'm John,
This is Ant.
and a
Well,
little disappointing yesterday from the Hall of Fame ballots. One being Mike Piazza being not elected.
let's remember, no one was elected.
Yeah,
That was the surprising part. I believe it's the first time since '96 that happened, and it's certainly something I didn't expect. I didn't expect a lot of the people nominated to, well, in particular Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds.
yes.
But I thought Mike Piazza would be a shoo-in.
I thought so.
I thought he'd be a shoo-in because
And he was going in as a Met too, and that also was kind of disappointing because obviously diehard Met fan, and it would been nice to see someone represent the New York Mets in the Hall of Fame. And like Mike Piazza, he did so much for New York, and I watched his career throughout New York, and it hurts, but what can you do? There's always next year, but I see the list. I have the list right here. There's a couple of players I agree with, like Craig Biggio,
right.
Jack Morris, Jeff Bagwell, Piazza, Kurt Schilling, Edgar Martinez, Larry Walker. Mark McGwire was even on there. Don Mattingly, Sammy Sosa. But same thing for Sammy Sosa and Rafael Palmeiro.
Yeah, I gotta say, like a lot of those names, all of them really, are from let's face it, the steroid era in baseball, and you gotta wonder, did the whoever was voting for these players, did they group in Mike Piazza with that group?
I hope not, because
That's
he's
gotta
clean.
be. I don't understand it because let's face it, I'm not a Mets fan, but I can admit I respect Piazza. What he did with the bat was amazing. Not the best defensive catcher. That doesn't mean he was the best in history.
No.
He was. Let's say he's the best offensive catcher in history.
I think so.
If I'm not, he has the record for most home runs by a catcher, and I believe, and that's the name of the game nowadays in baseball. Everybody loves the home run hitters, and then you don't put Piazza in there, and I just feel like he got a bad rap because he was grouped in with so many players,
Like Mark McGwire and all
yeah,
that. Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa.
who were tied with PEDs. Another name in there that, I can understand why he wasn't voted in, Edgar Martinez. The only reason he probably didn't get in was because he was a DH.
You're right.
He was a great hitter, no doubt about that. Yankee killer all the way, and I saw a lot of that. But the fact of the matter is, he didn't really play in the field. He was just there for his bat, and I gotta wonder if that's why he didn't get in. I do believe maybe he will get in at some point, but
Near future.
I would figure. I think he was a good enough hitter to be put in there.
Would you say if Mike Piazza doesn't get in next year, will he ever get in?
I think he will. He's got to get in. Just the statistics he put up for a catcher are great. They're just unbelievable. And the fact that they were more or less consistent. I'm gonna tell you what. I like I said, I'm not a Mets fan, but what he did with his bat, the leadership he showed on the Mets, it was very impressive. Very impressive, and he was just a huge asset to the team. And just one personal note, I'll never forget the Subway Series.
Yeah.
The final out of that Subway Series was in Shea Stadium,
yeah.
Game 5. Mariano threw a pitch and Mike Piazza hit it. I thought it was out.
I thought it was too.
I thought Mike Piazza hit it out. I was saying to myself, I can't believe he tied the game. Then Bernie Williams settled under it, and I think the wind might have sandbagged it really. But just that made my heart stop. And you just got to respect a guy like Mike Piazza. For him not to get into the Hall of Fame the first try, I think is really disappointing. I think he deserved it. He should have
100% correct. He had other great moments in New York. Obviously, with September 11th happening, and
who could forget that?
The game against Atlanta where he just put everybody, that home run, and I remember it. It got that crowd going. It's just like he hit that home run and boom, everything just changed. And and I was so happy it was against Atlanta.
Yeah.
Damn you, Chipper Jones. But congrats on a great career.
Mike Piazza did more than just hit a home run there.
Yeah.
He revitalized New York, and
He did.
for that second right there. At least Mets fans, anyway. Anyone who was able to, who wanted to suspend, just to forget about what was going on for a few minutes. That one home run, it just to see the smiles on New Yorkers' faces after what had just happened was it was something special.
Yeah,
definitely. That I believe will be the pinnacle of that. That's one of the many things Mike Piazza will be remembered for.
Oh, definitely, I agree.
And one note, I do agree that he should go into Hall of Fame as a Met. There's no question about it. He had really good days with Los Angeles, but I just think his career with the Mets was just too. It can't go unnoticed.
No,
it really can't.
No, absolutely not. I understand Craig Biggio being on the list. He actually got the most votes at 388.
Yeah, it's a shame for him too. It is. It's a lot of
Jeff Bagwell as well. He actually beat out Piazza. But I understand that point. I thought Curt Schilling would be a little bit more, but same thing with Curt Schilling. Great career in Boston. Everyone remembers the bloody sock incident.
Yeah, or the catch-up sock or whatever you want to call it.
The catch-up shot, the sock.
His days with the Diamondbacks, or that one World Series everyone remembers.
Barry Bonds, I don't think will never be in the Hall of Fame.
See, now that's interesting because there's two ways to look at it. You could look at it. Look, there's no doubt that Barry Bonds is a scumbag.
Okay,
that's just who he is.
Yes,
all right?
Agree.
But he's even early in his career. He was a good baseball player. He was good.
Okay.
Now I'm not denying that the steroids did give him the extra power to hit those home runs.
Okay.
Let's face it. People could say, "Oh, it doesn't make that much of a difference." Yes, it can easily turn deep fly balls into home runs. Okay, it can make that difference. All right. This isn't saying that I'm not taking away credit from Barry Bonds' hitting. He's a great hitter. Always had a high average. I just don't know that he would have been, a home run king, if he didn't have those performance-enhancing drugs. If he never did those, if he never was involved with PEDs, I do think he would have been a shoo-in also. I think so. He would have been. He hits a good amount of even before the steroids. He hit a good amount of home runs. He stole a good amount of bases. He's a pretty good defensive player for the most part, and I think he was on his way. And he just decided to prolong his career by using these drugs. And another one you can make, you can look at in the same way. Well, before I finish off, it's pretty clear that Barry Bonds is tied to steroids. And
yes.
When it was put out there, people say, "Oh, but he didn't know." Come on, he does know, right? When your head starts fluctuating in size, and you have to change in your 40s, and you start changing shoe size, and you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing, okay? He only admitted to not knowingly using steroids.
Okay.
Okay? Anyone with a brain knows that it's not true. Okay? You don't believe him, I don't believe him, neither should anyone else. But, we're not going to sit here and strip him of all his accolades. He was a great hitter.
Just one quick note, there were other receiving votes in there. Bernie Williams.
Yeah. Again, I as a Yankee, he's definitely a legend. He'll always be remembered. I just don't know if he was if he has the numbers to be in the Hall of Fame.
I don't think yet. I think he's got a long time.
Yeah.
A long time.
Yeah, I never expected him to be a shoo-in.
Kenny Lofton was the other name. Sandy Alomar Jr. It's a short list. Julio Franco, David Wells, Steve Finley, Sean Green, and Aaron Seal. Seal, yeah.
Okay.
But that's it's disappointing. Back to Piazza. It's disappointing he didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I don't think we'll ever see Sammy Sosa, Rafael Palmeiro, and Barry Bonds,
Yeah.
or Mark McGwire in the Hall of Fame.
According to the votes, Palmeiro...
He got 50.
He didn't get too many. And Sammy Sosa didn't get too many either. I do feel like the top 4, maybe top 5 on that list will eventually get in.
Yes, I think so.
Craig Biggio, Jack Morris, Jeff Bagwell, Mike Piazza, and Tim Raines. I do believe they are good enough to make the Hall of Fame.
What about Don Mattingly?
Don Mattingly, well, again, I think it's the same case with Bernie. You know, Yankee legend, the fans love him. But I just don't know if his numbers are good enough to make it into the Baseball Hall of Fame on their own. You know what I mean?
I get you.
And I also think that the fact that Mattingly only ever played in only ever played in the playoffs just 1 year, that might hurt him. It shouldn't. It's not fair to judge a player based on whether their team wins a lot or not. But you know, the voters are human. They have their bias. They see that someone isn't on a winning team much, and they're gonna vote on their own opinions. That's the truth.
Okay.
You know.
Sorry for Mike Piazza. I think hopefully he'll get in next year. And
another one we neglected to mention was Roger Clemens.
Yeah. But same thing. He's also
tied with PEDs. Roger started his career with the Red Sox. You know, just phenomenal guy, pitcher. I believe he struck out 20 players twice in one game. And he was just I don't know what happened to him either. It's the same case. Started off strong. You would think he's going to be a full just a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame once again, just like Bonds. And then again, unlike Bonds, he never admitted to it. He never even admitted to knowingly or unknowingly taking steroids. Brian McNamee, it's been, well, let's be honest, is not a very reliable source. Although, you know, when Andy Pettitte came out, said something, you know, that he did do it, and then he rescinded his comment, that was kind of, you know, confusing. But it's just unfortunate for Roger Clemens, because whether he did it or not, he's forever linked to PEDs.
Yes.
He could be innocent, you know, for all we know, but just the whole thing with the court.
That's what I'm saying.
The image of him going to court over the usage of PEDs and then going again because of allegedly lying in court. Unfortunately, that's how his career ended. That's what people are going to remember Roger Clemens for. And it's unfortunate because, again, I put him in the same category as Bonds in the sense that he started off strong. He didn't need them to get to the Hall of Fame. I feel like if he just would have kept doing what he was doing, he would have made it. But I don't know. I don't know. With him, again, it was never proven. But it'd be naive to just dub him innocent, I guess.
No, you're right.
It's a tough call with him.
You're right. Yeah, like I said, it's gonna be like those 4 guys. I don't think are ever gonna get into the Hall of Fame. Even Rafael Palmeiro.
You said Barry Bonds,
Sammy Sosa, Clemens, as you just brought him up. Those guys, I think it's a long shot for them to get in.
Yeah.
And it's just because they're linked to all steroids and all that kind of stuff. But it sounds like WWE.
Well, I mean, unlike... Well, here's the thing. I think baseball gets a bad rap because they're the only ones who actually care if you use steroids or not. Let's be honest. You know, I discuss this with a lot of my friends all the time. I'm a huge baseball fan because it separates itself from the other sports. It's not that fast-paced and everything. It's about numbers. But, you know, they get... every now and then they get made fun of for the cheaters they have. And granted, yeah, I'm not going to lie. There are a lot of cheaters in baseball. But do you really think there's no cheaters in football or basketball or in hockey? Let's be honest. Baseball is the only sport actually trying to get, you know, steroids. Get rid of it. Right? You look at the NFL. I believe it was Sean Merriman who was caught with steroids.
Okay.
And by the end of that season, the same season he was caught with using steroids, he's second in the Defensive Player of the Year, the category.
All right.
He's runner up in the awards, and I'm thinking to myself,
definitely not the same player he used to be now.
Yeah, definitely not. But
definitely not. I mean,
he was nearly rewarded for that. I mean,
give or take, he's had injury after injury.
I mean, you really believe that none of those linemen out there are on some type of performance-enhancing drug? There's no way. Okay, you look at the basketball players. All right, you look at the tone of their arms and their chest and the body. You're going to tell me you don't think any of them are on steroids?
For basketball players, I think it's a little. I don't think so.
Not necessarily just any type of performance-enhancing drug.
No. I know what you mean.
Look, because I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of basketball players just have a body that's just ridiculous, insanely perfect. Now, I know that their job is to keep tone, keep slick, and all that stuff.
Oh, you have to.
Now, remember, though, baseball had a lot of, relatively skinny pitchers who tested positive for PEDs. All right? Steroids doesn't always make you bulky.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It just helps you out.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the last time, or maybe you remember, that a basketball player testing positive for any type of performance-enhancing drug hit the news. All right? And hockey...
very rarely.
Very rarely.
Very rarely.
No, I'm sure, but again, it's another one of those sports where I'm sure they do use it. They do use it. But unlike the MLB, I feel like the rest of the sports, the NFL, the NBA, and the NHL, are more concerned with their reputation. NHL already has a bad reputation in terms of lockouts.
Yes.
Okay. Thankfully, they're back, but that you have a lockout, you're gonna have a tarnished reputation, especially if you have it twice.
Well, also it's hard to get the fans back because you got them back once, and now there's some fans that don't even want to even watch the games or go to games.
Right.
I mean,
then you have the
half the season's gone already, and they want to play a 48-game season, which I totally get, but it's going to be whoever wins the cup is going to be, you guys only played half a season, it shouldn't count, This happened in 95, It just, that's for any Ranger, Devil, Islander fan, that's what they're going to hear. You only played a 48-game season, you didn't play a whole season. It's like if the NFL locked out and all of a sudden you play, only, say, 8 games.
Mm-hmm.
And you have only 8 weeks into a season, you think fans wouldn't get on if Buffalo won the Super Bowl, it would be like, oh, you guys only won 8 games, try to play the 16-game season plus playoffs,
Whoever, unfortunately for whoever wins the Stanley Cup this year, it will be with an asterisk.
Of course.
Not necessarily because anyone cheated.
It's a joke, this is not right, that's going to be the problem. Whoever wins the Stanley Cup, fans are going to be, this is a bunch of BS. This shouldn't happen. There shouldn't have been a season.
Now, now to an extent, I do understand that argument because, let's face it, hockey is a fairly long season. It's
82 games.
82 games, right up there with basketball, and there have been cases where you either have a team that starts off slow and then makes an amazing run to the playoffs, or you have that team that looks promising and then just drops off. It just drops off. They miss the playoffs. Disappointing season. And I get that. But what it's really about is taking advantage of whatever opportunity you're given. Okay? Hey, maybe a shortened season helps you avoid injuries. Okay? And as a team, come on. What team is going to go out there, win the Stanley Cup, and then say, well, we don't want this cup because we feel we didn't win it the right way? Nobody's going to do that.
No, definitely not.
You just, you work with what you have. The NHL is going to have about half their games. You just go out there and you do what you can with those games.
No, you're right.
All right? I mean, yeah, of course, I understand why it might be tarnished. It might be a tarnished reputation for whoever, or a tainted Stanley Cup victory. But you got to give credit due where it's due.
I know what you mean.
If whoever wins it, they will have earned it. Granted, it won't be the same thing as playing an entire season, but it's still, a win's a win. Let's be honest. Another one you have to look up to is in terms of sports wanting to do more to save their reputation as opposed to finding, let's say, PED users, the NBA. I can understand. Well, what I was trying to say was that these three sports are trying to save their reputation more than looking for cheaters. Unfortunately, the NBA has quite a few problems. They get they already don't have the best reputation out there because of the fact that one of them could be all these fights.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's gotten the label. You know, people joke that all these are thugs playing the sport and everything.
Well, I wouldn't say thugs, but
no, I'm not either.
It's good for the game, though. You know, it shows how much these teams hate each other.
But like not when it spills into the fans.
No, not when it's no. That's when it's wrong.
I get it. I get it when it happens out on the court. You know, be honest. Every guy.
loves a good fight. Love hockey fights. I love hockey. Right. It's just great for the sport.
It's part of the game.
Yeah, it's part of the game.
Part of the game. But when basketball fights spill into the stands, they get a bad reputation, because you're going there. You're there to watch a game, and then you have two 6-foot guys falling over on fans that pay good money for those seats.
I got you.
And it's just nobody's ever going to forget the Detroit Pistons and who was the Indiana Pacers fight with Ron Artest and all that stuff. That's that's an image that the NBA is never going to be able to get rid of.
Even though I thought it was enjoyable. Yeah. I was like, oh wow, this is going into the fans, and the fans getting beat. He's getting beat up, you know.
And another big issue with the NBA, I guess, would be the referees. You always will. Look, every fan blames the referee at some point.
Oh, definitely.
But there are instances where the calls are so bad that they can't possibly be by accident.
Do we have to go back to that Monday night BCS game? I mean, that fair catch. It should have been.
I'm talking about NFL though.
Well, I know.
But you're right. But you're right. That's an example of something in a different sport. But
there are some bad calls in the NFL, like bad.
We'll definitely get to the NFL like in a second.
Okay.
Just give me one more sec with the NBA, because there have been many one of the most infamous instances where the refs seem to favor one team was back when the Lakers played the Kings in I believe it was to go to the finals.
All right.
And they just it was as if the Lakers were meant to win that game. And then of course you have again, I'm not going to rag on LeBron James. He's a great basketball player. I always enjoy watching him play. But every now and then I will admit, he does seem to get those calls.
Oh, I think so.
He does travel a lot. I mean, come on, let's be honest. He travels a lot, and he always gets the benefit of the doubt with the refs. More often than let's put it this way: in basketball, the superstars get the calls.
Yes.
All right, and that can be a segue into the NFL, because one can say that the same thing happens there.
Oh, no, you're 100% right.
I mean, you look at
you touch Tom Brady, it's a flag.
You slap Tom Brady or Peyton Manning on the helmet, all right? It could be a glancing blow, and it's roughing the passer. I understand that it's a blow to the head. But they're not going to get a concussion from a light tap. A light tap.
But at one point, you couldn't touch him. Like it'd be a regular sack, and all of a sudden you'd see like a flag. Like, what did I do?
Right.
And then you get a stupid call roughing the passer, and I'd be like, are you kidding me?
Like I've seen Tom Brady and Peyton Manning get these roughing, and again I love Peyton Manning.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
He's amazing, but just some of these calls that he gets are like, did you really need to give Peyton Manning that call? He's already so good. He didn't need that. He's a football player. He could take care of himself.
I mean, there are some.
He could take his hit.
Yeah, definitely.
But then you look at the hits that Michael Vick takes week in and week out. You look at the hits that I guess any rookie really. Yeah. A rookie's not proven. Ref's not gonna give him a judgment call. They're just gonna, whatever they see, they're gonna throw a flag or whatever. But, I mean, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, I guess you could throw in Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees, are at this point where they will get calls that, maybe Russell Wilson doesn't get, or Robert Griffin III. Although Robert Griffin, he did become a superstar this year.
Yeah, I think it actually sucks. He tore his ACL and LCL. He's gonna miss 6 to 8 months. But hopefully he's right back out there where he belongs.
Yeah. But the reason I had a segue into the NFL wanting to take more care of their reputation was in the sense of how they handled Spygate. Okay, they're outed for recording defensive formations, and it's basically just a slap on the wrist. Why? Because the Pats just won 3 Super Bowls. Okay, 9 in a row. They had one, and then they had a repeat a couple years later. I believe they beat the Rams the first time. Then it was the Panthers a couple years later, and then the Eagles were the last time they won.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the dominance they've shown. I guess I can understand why people still think they might be cheating. Not necessarily in every game, but there are theories that they still are cheating, at least in their home games. Because I do remember a few years back, their wins and losses in their home games compared to their away games was just a ridiculous difference. I might be mistaken. It was either the year 2009 or 2010 where I think they won all their home games and they only won 2 away games.
Oof.
Is that not the most lopsided
No, it is lopsided, but at the same time, it's...
Again, this isn't me saying that they're cheating still, but you gotta understand why people, believe that they might still be doing something.
Well, I told myself, if there's actually one 2-minute quarterback I want on my team, it's Tom Brady. But I'll give him more credits due. The man has won 3, right?
It's 3 Super Bowls.
Okay.
But here's my deal with the Patriots. If you pay attention to what's been going on with them, they've not won a Super Bowl since Spygate.
No, you're right. You're right.
I don't think that's coincidence. It might not be.
Now,
because
would you say if they won it this year, would you say they're cheating again, or just buy off that maybe it is their year?
I am not sure. I really don't know because earlier in the year, I saw them. They didn't seem that good earlier in the year. I mean, they were winning their games, but even one game where they had they needed overtime to beat the Jets in the first game.
And then that dismantling on Thanksgiving.
And then you have the second game, and it's just completely different from the first game. I mean, the Pats won both games, but you would never be able to tell they played the same team.
I know you're right, definitely.
And I don't know. I guess you have to give credit where it's due.
Now, obviously, they destroyed Houston the first go-around in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see this game being the same on Sunday?
It's tough to say because this time it's in New England. It's an outdoor stadium. I was surprised with Houston that day that they got destroyed.
Ripped. They got ripped, and Tom Brady owned Houston's defense.
Oh yeah, it is.
You saw
I don't know.
You saw Tubby Wade Phillips on the sideline going, he don't know what to do. Thanks Wade Phillips, by the way, for 1999. I remember that dearly. Thanks for that. Do I see another blowout in that game? I do. I think so.
It's definitely a possibility.
Games in New England.
Because also you have to remember that the Texans kind of lost some momentum going into the playoffs.
They did. It's not like they took care of Cincinnati. It's just that if Cincinnati actually scored touchdowns into that game, I think Cincinnati would have won. But field goals don't win games.
Well,
they do at certain points, but you can't beat a Houston team that scores touchdowns and be consistent to Cincinnati, where you got down to the 20 and you can't punch it in.
I do think that Houston was a better team than Cincinnati. I did expect them to beat Cincinnati. Okay. I would have been surprised if Houston lost.
It was only 19-13 final. It wasn't like a kill.
No, it wasn't. Not absolutely. It was still it was a one-score game. But I did expect Houston to win. I didn't think it'd be that close. I didn't think it'd be that boring.
It was. If you stay close to Houston, you're bound to beat them. Like I said, the score showed on last Sunday. I thought if Cincy scored the touchdowns and didn't settle for field goals, it would have been a much closer game.
Yeah.
And not to mention it was closer already. They only lost by 6 points.
Yeah. Houston did escape with a victory.
That's why I think they have a hard time in New England.
They're going to have a very hard time.
Tom Brady in that offense right now is clicking. With Gronk back, Wes Welker,
right.
Hernandez, you have offensive weapons that galore.
Yeah.
I think New England goes on to the next round. Next game is Denver and Baltimore, which I expect another great game on Saturday.
I can't wait for that game.
A lot of people.
That game's got a lot of story behind it.
It does.
You have Peyton Manning's comeback. You have
Ray Lewis's last dance.
Potentially his last game.
And last dance, as people like to call it that.
Yeah, it's going to be... It's something when you see two legends go head-to-head like that. It's not like two quarterbacks going head-to-head because they don't really play each other.
Yeah.
They play each other's defenses. But no, this is Peyton Manning going out there against Ray Lewis's defense.
Yep.
And I really look forward to this, and it's going to be a classic. I hope it is. I think it'll be it might be a low-scoring game, or, Peyton Manning could shock us all and blow out the Ravens, because I just don't see Joe Flacco having that good a game.
Okay.
I guess he doesn't really have that many good playoff games, but Ray Rice is always a game changer.
Definitely.
So, if Baltimore's going to keep up with Peyton, if Peyton's on, the only way Baltimore can keep up with him is through Ray Rice.
Who do you pick to win this game?
I believe it's going to be Denver.
So we're seeing a Peyton Manning, Tom Brady AFC Championship game.
I don't know. Well, it's tough to say.
Which people would want to say?
I would like to pick Baltimore, but I just don't know if their offense could... I know their defense can definitely keep them in the game. All right? But Baltimore, who'd they beat last week?
The Colts.
So they beat the Colts.
But same thing for that. If the Colts got into the end zone, it would have been a much closer game.
But also Andrew Luck. He had a great year, but he's still a rookie.
Yeah.
His first playoff game, and he went up against a very good defense in Baltimore. All right? Indianapolis scored, 9 points.
3 field goals.
And that's...
It's not going to win you football games.
I don't think that's going to happen to Peyton Manning.
Oh, definitely not.
He's going to get him into the end zone at least once. At least twice, I would say. He's that good. But,
I think we'll see the first quarter and the second quarter, like the first half, to see who comes out more dominant between the offense of Peyton Manning and the defense of Ray Lewis. I'd like to see a Manning and Brady AFC Championship game.
Right.
And, I think it's great for TV.
I think it's great for TV, but personally, I would have liked to see new stars in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah, I agree with that.
Don't get me wrong. I like Tom Brady. I like Peyton Manning. But I would like to see someone new in the Super Bowl on the side of the AFC.
So now...
In the AFC, like I said before...
is actually great.
All we ever see is Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, or Ben Roethlisberger. Those are the 3 quarterbacks who have been in the Super Bowl the past something years.
No, definitely right.
Over and over. It's been some cycle. And I just would have liked to see something new. Whether that's Matt Schaub or Joe Flacco, it doesn't matter.
That is actually a great segue into the NFC, as you were just talking about new faces. Seattle and Atlanta. Obviously, Russell Wilson and Seattle's defense have been making a statement.
Mm-hmm.
As you say, for new face, Atlanta, Matt Ryan, and that offense, it's been on fire. Julio Jones, Rodney White.
Yeah.
They have the running back. It's just they have everything right now.
Yeah.
Can Seattle stop that dominant offense?
I don't think so. I got Atlanta to win this game. And, again, I said in our first show, I really came to respect Russell Wilson after the last game.
And Michael Turner's had a great career. He had a great season this year.
Yeah.
800 yards, 10 touchdowns,
Right.
I think Atlanta does win this game, but I think it's not going to be by blowout.
I don't think it'll be a blowout either. Seattle's got a pretty good defense. But like I was saying before, this isn't anything absolutely nothing against the Seattle Seahawks. Again, seeing Russell Wilson throw those blocks was
impressive.
He doesn't have to put his body on the line like that. Nobody expects a quarterback to do that. And there's Russell Wilson running ahead of Marshawn Lynch to throw a block so he can get in the end zone. Very impressive. And I look forward to Russell Wilson just staying relevant in the NFL, maybe becoming a superstar. Again, I don't want to take credit away from Seattle. They did a great job against the Redskins. But Robert Griffin was hindered by an injury.
I don't see that as I mean, it's a loss.
It is a loss the sense that, look, I mean, Griffin played well enough in the game.
He did.
But you gotta wonder,
if he stayed
he was
in the
taken
game.
out of the game.
Okay.
He was taken out of the game. And I do feel like the ending would have been closer if he was still in there. But again, I'm not going to take anything away from Seattle. I do think they earned that victory. Okay? Made less mistakes than the Redskins. I just don't think Atlanta's going to roll over like that.
Okay.
For Seattle.
And now, which I think is the game of the week, Green Bay and Frisco.
Really? That's
San
your game
Francisco.
of the week?
I think so. It's Aaron Rodgers versus Colin Kaepernick. The story season for San Francisco, obviously, Alex Smith getting hurt and Colin Kaepernick coming out of the bench.
Yeah.
From the bench and now starting for San Francisco. Two red-hot quarterbacks right now.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a great game between both Frisco's defense and Green Bay's defense. Because Green Bay's defense showed up last week and stopped Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. Well, and again, they did. I believe they did start trash talk a little bit. Did somebody dare Adrian Peterson to?
I think so.
Around them, something like that, and he couldn't.
But we'll give.
Granted, it's Chris Ponder wasn't playing,
yes.
so they knew he was going to that Minnesota would be running more often than not. But still, I mean, come on. Everybody knows Adrian Peterson's going to be running the ball at some point. And whether or not the Vikings are one-dimensional or not, it's very impressive that they were able to stop him. Because Adrian Peterson, he's just something else. Almost broke that single-season record.
Yep.
Just I wanted to see him do it.
It would have been nice to see.
But he didn't get it done. But still, a phenomenal career, especially coming back from the injury he had.
Well, that's actually a good talk. Who has like that moment of the year or comeback? It's either Peyton Manning or that.
Yeah. Well, but I can see also why you see this as game of the year. It's not just two red hot teams going up against each other. It's two storied franchises. I mean the other side, the AFC. You got some teams, not necessarily the classics. You have the Pats and the Broncos, but then you have the Falcons and the Texans and all that.
Not game of the year. I think game of the week. Could it be like going through like if you look at the playoff games again? I think this one stands out.
It does.
It stands out. I mean, it's just
to see a Green Bay and San Francisco go up against each other.
I think it's going to be a high scoring game.
Yeah.
Because like Green Bay's defense stepped up, but I'm going to bring it. They're not consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong. I love AJ. What's his name? Clay Matthews.
Yeah.
I love him. It's just they're never consistent.
So you see San Francisco winning.
I love Aaron Rodgers though. I love Aaron Rodgers and I love the way Frisco's been playing. My pick's Green Bay though over Frisco and San Francisco. I think that's the other tough part for Green Bay. The game is in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's my pick. I'm gonna settle with Green Bay.
Okay.
Who are you gonna pick?
Oh, like I said, I'm all about the new faces this year. I would like the 49ers to make it. They barely missed it last year.
Okay.
Barely missed it last year, and I would like to see Colin Kaepernick make a name for himself.
Okay.
But I won't be disappointed if Green Bay wins.
I know you're right.
I really don't mind. I mean, you can't really go wrong this year.
So we are seeing, if it stands right now, either Green Bay against Atlanta or Frisco against Atlanta.
Yeah, I think Atlanta's going to win their game.
Now,
really
how about a total switch on this, and you get the two new faces in the NFC Championship game. Colin Kaepernick versus Russell Wilson.
Again, I wouldn't be disappointed.
I
really
wouldn't be either.
Hey, if that happens, Russell Wilson could potentially be the first rookie quarterback to ever make the Super Bowl. Starting rookie quarterback to ever make the Super Bowl. And if he were to win it, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, again, we might be getting ahead of ourselves, but hey, I mean, in the NFL, it's not like a series.
No,
you just have to win one game.
Anything could happen.
Yeah.
It
just hasn't happened yet, but I do.
I think a lot of people would like to see Green Bay against Seattle, as we all understand why. If you go back to Week 3 in the NFL, with the interception touchdown that everyone likes to bring up, I think everyone wants to see that. I'd like to see that for Green Bay's redemption, because that was a total pick in my part. I know a lot of Seattle fans got away with one, and the Seattle Seahawks got away with one. But I thought that was an interception. And I think that's been eating Green Bay up for a long time.
I remember that, yeah. As you brought that up, I was trying to remember what you were talking about, but yeah, I remember. Boy, that was the blown call of the year.
Yeah.
That was by far the worst call of the year. And, oh, man, unbelievable.
Yeah, it's the worst call of the year. And I think a lot of people want to see that game happen. I want to see it happen because I want to see Green Bay come out of that game and just not hurt Russell Wilson, but make a statement saying we're supposed to win that game, not you guys. Right. Even though the game should have ended like that, it's just Green Bay's going to come out with, if this game happens, Green Bay's going to come out with vengeance. And I wouldn't be surprised if they take this momentum, beat either Seattle or Atlanta, and head off to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And if we're talking about a Denver and New England AFC Championship game, it's going to be either Brady versus Rodgers or Manning versus Rodgers. And I see New England going on.
Well, let's not count everyone out.
No, I know. I'm not counting everyone out.
It's tough to. Well, so so far that's your prediction.
Yes, my prediction is New England against Green Bay in the Super Bowl.
Okay,
that's my prediction right now. We'll talk about it more when it gets. We'll talk about.
I would like to see two workhorses. Just practice. Practice makes perfect. You work hard. You see results, and I would like to see two quarterbacks in Matt Schaub and Matt Ryan. I would like to see their hard work finally pay off.
I'll agree.
Matt Schaub, he was a backup quarterback for a while, and this year I think he's proven himself. He still has his doubters, but I think he did a great job this year. Again, no quarterback is perfect, but they could shock us in the
They have a great running back and a great receiving corps.
2 years ago, who thought the Jets would beat the Patriots?
Oh.
It just shows, New England's not invincible in the playoffs anymore.
No, I know.
All right?
For
all we know, Houston could, maybe they remember that game. Of course they remember that game.
Well, going back to last year, remember anything could happen in the NFL. Seattle beating New Orleans.
Yeah.
52. I mean, who knew? And yeah, anything could happen in the NFL now. It's not, I would have liked to see Minnesota go on, but Webb is their quarterback. Not going to happen. It would have been nice to see Cincinnati or Indianapolis moving on, but same thing. It's Cincy didn't get the ball in the end zone, and same thing went for Andrew Luck and the offense. They couldn't punch the ball in, and they're out of the playoffs. But it was a good first year for Luck.
It was a good. You talk about a rebuilding year. This was supposed to be a rebuilding year for
They're
the
supposed
Colts.
to go 2-win. They're not supposed to win 11 games on that.
What a year!
But yeah, what a year! They won 11 games, better than my horrible Buffalo Bills that we'll talk about another time. But
Andrew Luck has a very bright future ahead of him.
Speaking of Buffalo, they signed the Jets defensive coordinator.
Okay, well, good luck with that.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate
whatever
that.
Whatever that means.
I guess it's a good sign from Dave Wannstedt. In my opinion, I think it's a better sign for us because Dave Wannstedt is a piece of garbage. He always sat in the booth. He never came out. As a defensive coordinator, I want to see you on the sidelines.
I gotta wonder how much how important will that be when it comes time to play the Jets?
Jets. No, you're right.
Because we all know, allegedly Rex Ryan is all about defense. All right, and we can see that because he doesn't give a crap about his offense, and it shows. The only thing he cares about is that he keeps Mark Sanchez as a quarterback, and this is what happens. You have a bad year.
Yep.
But I will give him his credit. He has a pretty good defense, very good secondary this year. But now you got to wonder, how much does this defensive coordinator know about Rex Ryan's strategy when it comes to defense?
That's why I think it's a good sign.
It's a very good signing. I think it's very decent.
Plus, at one point, Jets had a great defense.
No, absolutely. I do believe that's been the one sort of consistent with the Jets.
It's not like Buffalo doesn't have a defense. They have guys on defense that are great. It's just Dave Wannstedt is a horrible defensive coordinator. I mean, when you sit in the skybox and you're calling from the plays down to the field, I like seeing defensive coaches like, come on, let's go, let's do this. Get your team fired up. You can't get your team fired up from 100 feet away from the field. Every time they pointing him, they always show the camera on him, and you just be like, nah.
Yeah,
what can you do?
Just doing his job.
Just doing his job.
Just going through the motions.
But I see other defensive coordinators out there let's do this. Dave Wannstedt didn't show that at all.
Right.
And Chan Gailey, thank God, fired. Every time something big happened, he'd just have that mope on his face, you're the coach. Get your players fired up. I never saw that once from him, and it pissed me off because remember, you're the coach. You're supposed to fire these guys up.
Mm-hmm.
Make them play right. If they don't, yell at them if they make a mistake. That never happened, and it's tough being a Buffalo fan because you want change. And we thought Chan Gailey was going to be a change. No, it ended up being a 16-32 3-year ride that was garbage. And hopefully the Jets defensive coordinator, formerly that now hired on Buffalo, can fix this garbage defense and turn it into something. And they have players that they can do it with. It's just, I hope that, I know it's going to be first year, and like I said, it's a rebuilding year. Again, I just hope he fixes the defense and fixes out the flaws and stuff like that. The other flaw is on offense. We need hopefully they hire an offensive coordinator and gets rid of Fitzpatrick. I'm done with Fitzpatrick. I think it was a bad contract. I know I'm getting a little off track right now. I know it's about the playoffs and all. But, yeah, it's Fitzpatrick, you're done. You're done in Buffalo. You've always been a backup quarterback. You had a couple of good games, but I think the ride's over. We need to start off fresh, get a young quarterback, or maybe draft a young quarterback and bring in someone who knows what he's doing.
Yeah. No, that's unfair to Fitzpatrick. Maybe somebody who can execute better.
Yes.
Because Fitzpatrick is a smart guy.
Oh, went to Hartford.
Yeah, he's a smart guy, but maybe just someone who can execute the plays better than Fitzpatrick. I guess the Jets.
And they also have weapons. You have Stevie Johnson, you have C.J. Spiller, Fred Jackson. It's just bad offensive coordinator. It was just bad because Chan Gailey was calling the plays, and I don't think a head coach should be calling the plays when you have head coaching duties. Mm-hmm. Focus on head coaching. Get an offensive coordinator. Don't be the offensive coordinator. Try not to do both. And if you try to do both, I think it gets to you at one point. It's like you have to make head coaching decisions, and at the same time, I'm running the offense. I have to do something else. So I think that's the other problem with Chan Gailey, and he's gone. I think it's going to be another rebuild. It's going to be a rebuilding year again, but maybe something good happens out of this. I like the guy from Syracuse. It's not the greatest signing, but it's better than what we had. So we'll talk about Buffalo another time. On the quick wrestling news and all that. Not that much to talk about, except I just want to bring one thing up about why Del Rio won the title.
Okay.
I wanted to bring that up. We were to save it for tomorrow, but I mean, we will bring it up tomorrow again. 'Cause Rob's gonna be here tomorrow, so check it out. I understand why. And I guess it's a good idea if they want to get more. The way they were like, Rey Mysterio and all those and Sin Cara, the way they were gonna push them guys as baby faces.
Yeah.
Now look where they are. Rey Mysterio has personal problems. Sin Cara is injured. Okay, so now I understand why they're making Del Rio a babyface to get more Latin Americans into watching wrestling.
Right.
And I understand why now they're pushing him. It was originally planned for Monday night, which would have been better. I think so. I don't know what you want to...
No, I would have liked to see it on Monday Night Raw. It definitely would have been something to talk about. It probably would have... It potentially could have stolen... Well, maybe it wouldn't have stolen the show. Usually when The Rock shows up, it's all about him. But Del Rio could have had a really big spot on Raw. It's a shame he couldn't do it on live TV. But I guess SmackDown will get a jump in the ratings.
A little bit. But it did... It kind of stinks that it's already like WWE.com. They already know, they put up who won the title.
Yeah.
But we understand why. They don't want people going to other sites to see.
Yeah, apparently they didn't want anyone else to spoil it for the fans, so they put it out there themselves. I don't know how genuine that is. I think it's because they wanted to give SmackDown a boost in the ratings. Again, you tell somebody he's going to win the title on Friday, and someone will say, oh, okay, I want to see that. Well, again, I don't know how many people want to see Del Rio as champ. But
it's
a title.
different.
It's a title change.
Yeah, it's a title change.
People are always interested in title changes. I remember a few years back, many years back, I should say, there was a case where Kurt Angle made a sudden appearance on SmackDown, won a Battle Royal, and ended up becoming World Heavyweight Champion. This is when Batista forfeited the title because he was injured. He was legitimately injured. They had a Battle Royal to decide the next champ. Kurt Angle was a surprise entrant. He won. And all over the internet, you just saw Kurt Angle wins title, breaking news, blah, blah, blah. And, I, as a fan, I just tuned in. I wanted to see, how did he win the title?
Yeah, but at the same time where I think SmackDown should go live just because, like, a lot of people look at the spoilers and it's like, I do this because I don't watch SmackDown, but it's not one of my... I just think that what happens already, and it's just that once you read, like, what happens, you don't want to watch it. Maybe if something, like, major happened, like, okay, I'll tune in to SmackDown to see how he won, because I'm interested. But, yeah, I think they should go live. I think the tapings, it's done. You have to go live.
Oddly enough, I don't think that's their biggest problem. I personally think SmackDown needs to go back to Thursday.
That's an interesting one.
I think that when you put SmackDown, they had a good run on Thursdays.
Oh, they did.
Let's see. I understand that Thursday's kind of a random day to put it on, but you've got a lot of. Remember, the WWE has to remember that their demographic of viewers are probably, most of them are now in their 20s. At some point in their 20s, of course, you're always going to have the kids, the teens,
the adults,
and the adults who are hanging on to that. They just like that.
Yeah.
But I got to believe that the core of their viewers are in their 20s, maybe early 30s. All right. Especially when they turn out for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Okay. And I feel like it was a big mistake putting it on Friday because, let's be honest, people usually have plans on Friday nights.
Oh, did people go out, dinner?
Yeah.
They just go out.
The weekend has started.
Yep.
And people are just going to, they're just not, I don't see them sitting down
partying, drinking, stuff like that.
Right. I mean, every now and then you will stay home, catch an edition of SmackDown if it's good. Again, it's because of the spoilers. People say, "Oh, this edition sucks. I'm not going to waste my time with it. I know what happens already." But I do believe that a lot of their rating, the reason their ratings might be lower than usual, than they used to be, is because it's on Friday. Thursday. I always enjoyed Thursday. I always felt, as a kid, during, let's say, the Attitude Era, or even after the Attitude Era, when SmackDown revolved around Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, Eddie Guerrero, even John Cena, up and coming wrestler. I enjoyed those days too, and it was on a Thursday, and I could always watch it. I always felt like SmackDown was the beginning of my weekend.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
I feel like SmackDown was what set my weekend off, because you go to school Monday through Wednesday, whatever. Then you go to school Thursday. Okay, weekend's almost here. Then you have SmackDown. You watch it. It's over, and then it's Friday. Okay, and I feel like WWE had something going there, and when they moved it to Friday, I just didn't. I didn't see the logic behind it.
I didn't see the logic either, and that's what I agree with you on that. It's the first thing I said, that people do stuff on Fridays,
Yeah.
And people go out, drink, have fun. I mean, if there's nothing to do on a Friday night, okay, you can tune into SmackDown and all, but Thursday, who does, I mean, maybe some people do stuff on Thursday, but for general wrestling fans that either go to school, that are still in high school, they normally can't go out, so they tune in and watch SmackDown on Thursdays. Now, I don't think so. Like, I guess if you're diehard wrestling fans, you stay home and watch SmackDown, then you go out.
Right.
Which you can also do.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There are just some people who decide they want to kick back and relax on Friday night. They will stay home. But, like I said, I got to believe that most people go out on... You can get much more viewers Thursday nights than you will Friday. I just believe that's... I don't know what they were thinking moving the day.
No, I know what you mean.
I don't understand it. Well, I mean, I definitely will tune into SmackDown. I do want to see this match. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm not usually excited about an edition of SmackDown, but I guess like we were saying, it was nice. It would have been nice if Del Rio won it on Raw, but I do think SmackDown needed this. I do think they needed something relevant to happen on this show. It's been a while since anyone said, "Hey, you know what happened on SmackDown last night?" Nobody says that anymore. It's the conversation usually goes, "Hey, did you watch SmackDown?" "I don't watch SmackDown. That show sucks." But now, with Del Rio winning the championship, you actually have something, maybe to discuss.
Well, normally it's either, "Hey, you watched SmackDown?" I read the results already.
Yeah, it's either I read the results already, or
who watches that? SmackDown. I read the results. But, yeah, that's, I'd like to see go on Thursdays, but, there's heat on Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara.
No.
Yeah, there's actually heat on Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara, if you can believe it. As Rey Mysterio was once, I guess, WWE's, top guy to push for the Latin American people.
Yeah.
And same thing for Sin Cara. But
well, you got to give credit where credit's due, because Ray did do a good job for a number of years.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
He did.
But I think he stinks now. That's just my opinion. And I thought he was much better in WCW. But same thing. Like, I understand what WWE is trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're trying to set this match up for Mania, but now you have personal problems. Sin Cara's injured. Okay, and what do you want us to do? Our hands are tied on this one. Yeah. So let's put Del Rio as our babyface.
He's really the only option now. He is, and I feel like that's just what they needed to do. I do think he's a good asset. I don't think... I mean, his matches, they're good. They're good. I mean, they're not... they're not like, let's say, any of CM Punk's matches. But they're watchable.
No, they
I can watch them.
are.
His heel promos were stale, and I am curious to see
how he does his babyface.
Yeah, his babyface promos. I would like to see that. Will he still be the Mexican aristocrat?
Well, remember, Rodriguez gets a babyface right. He gets a crowd reaction when he comes out, and that's pretty.
Well, he essentially is a face. Yeah, he's that humorous guy. I would say he's like heel Santino, where maybe he's officially a heel, but he's just so like out there that people would cheer for him.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that made that official was when he entered the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I think that was last year. He got a. I think he got a big pop last year.
Yes, he did.
In the Royal Rumble, and he got a.
As he came out in the horrible looking car.
Yeah, that was hilarious. But yeah, I mean, I do think that Del Rio has potential as a face. I think time will tell, and I just really want to see a full promo from him as a face.
Yes.
I would like to see what is his attitude going to be. Is he still going to be arrogant, but not to the point where he upsets the fans? Is he still going to be going along with calling people perro, which is like a dog in Spanish or whatever? I would like to see that. I would like to see if he's going to make any big alterations to his character, or if he's going to stay relatively the same way.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see something different from him. Just overall, I hated him at first, but I just wanted to see a change out of Del Rio. He's never been a babyface.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see Rey Mysterio heel. I think it'd be kind of interesting. He's been face all this while he was here.
Right.
And all of a sudden, let's turn him heel. It'd be kind of a cool switch to see what he can do as a heel. You can't really turn Sin Cara heel. That's hard to work with.
Right.
But,
well, I mean, I would figure the only way you could have Sin Cara heel is just have him continuously interfere in matches. That's apparently.
Or beat up on Rey Mysterio.
Well, that's what I mean. Beat up on Rey Mysterio, or whenever Mysterio's in a match, Sin Cara interferes or whatever, costs Mysterio matches, because he just can't cut a promo right now. I think he's still in the process of learning English, and I think, oddly enough, Rey Mysterio is the one helping him with his English in terms of promo cutting. But yeah, we haven't seen Cara cut any promos. I guess I understand why, but he's got to get on that quickly if he wants to stay in the WWE. But I could see why you want to see Rey Mysterio as a heel. I just wonder how do you do that?
Yeah.
What would the gimmick be? I mean, because he's not I guess he would have to be like The Miz, where he's not physically intimidating. He's not super. Well, Rey Mysterio is better in the ring than.
Come on, guys like Yay Big. I mean, what could you?
Yeah, but I guess.
And can't move anymore. So remember, he's
right. So if Rey Mysterio is going to be a heel, I think he has to just. Like I said, it's got to be the type of Miz heel where he talks a lot. He I guess maybe he'll poke fun at you or whatever, and I guess he can brag about all his accomplishments.
Oh, definitely.
He could do that. He could throw that in there where. He won the Royal Rumble at the number 1 or number 2 spot, something like that. Longest record in the Royal Rumble, longest recorded time in the Royal Rumble. I think that's what the record is. Like I said, just if he's going to be a heel, he has to throw his accomplishments in people's faces and all that stuff.
I agree.
That's the only way you can really do that. And he's got to cheat to win.
Yeah, definitely. That's typical heel,
Yeah.
Other news, Hall of Famer is finally done with wrestling.
I heard about that.
Terry Funk. Thank God. I can understand why he's finally hanging it up. Listen, you can't take chair shots and barbed wire bats to the head, and you're 70 years old. Come on.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why great for Terry Funk. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, he had a good career. A lot of holy cow moments.
Yeah, definitely.
Career. But you gotta wonder, how legitimate is a wrestler's retirement?
Can we not talk about that?
I mean, how many times do they come back? They miss being in there. Well, yeah, he's one of them. He's like the poster child for that.
Oh, well, and the other one's Ric Flair. I mean, the man's gonna die in the ring.
He said he is, and he might. He might. He says that, I guess, jokingly, but. Or maybe he's being serious about it. Yeah, I think he's.
The man's gonna die in the ring. I mean, I understand that he has nothing else to do.
It'll probably be like that same spot that he does in every match where he gets thrown off the top rope. One day he's just not gonna get up. He's just gonna lie there and.
Which sucks in my opinion, that he should do something else instead of wrestle. But what is there for him to do?
Everyone says he should be a manager.
I think he'd be a great manager.
A lot of people say he should manage Dolph Ziggler. But it seems Ziggler already has a manager.
With AJ Lee and Big E Langston?
Yeah, he's got...
Well, not Big E Langston. I think he's just,
Ziggler's got the manager and the bodyguard.
Or the enforcer.
Or the enforcer, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I don't think Ric Flair's going to be his manager.
Could you... just one quick note. Could you see that being a stable?
What, with Ziggler and AJ?
Yeah.
Well, I wonder who else would be in it, though.
Because it looks like, you have Ziggler, who's awesome right now. Really good. He sells anything so good that, I could see him, I like to see them grow a stable around this. You have the top guy as in Ziggler, as he's the leader of the group, AJ Lee being the misses in the group, and you have the enforcer. Now maybe add a couple more people to this, and you have... not the NWO or like the Four Horsemen, but I guess something like the Four Horsemen.
I guess I could see that.
It would be cool. They could build a stable around them three, and just don't have a huge group like the NWO. Have like a small group like what Ric Flair did in the Four Horsemen,
or Evolution,
or Evolution, same thing. I love stables and I love groups like DX. Even though the old DX, not this DX.
I'm kind of torn about it. Because I don't want it to take away from Dolph Ziggler himself. I would like to see him on his own for a minute, for a little while. I mean, he's been managed by Vicky Guerrero for how long?
Right.
It's been way too long. They finally ended that. But what happens? Now he's got another manager.
Yes.
A
better one, though.
But I see what you're saying, because there are instances where the person in the stable comes out of that storyline even stronger than he was going in. I mean, let's be honest. Evolution catapulted Randy Orton and Batista
right off the bat.
They were catapulted as soon as Evolution was done. Those two were in the main event
right away.
Main event status. It was very impressive with Evolution, and that's exactly
Randy
what it was
Orton
meant for.
came up with his own group Legacy, but I didn't think that was good.
Yeah, I feel like it didn't. It's tough to say what happened, what went wrong there. I mean, Cody Rhodes, after that, he did win Intercontinental Champion for a while, but he's also... And Ted DiBiase Jr., I don't even know what...
Yeah, I don't know where to go wrong there. He does have talent. He does have some talent there. It's just you don't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
But like I said, I just like to see them make a new stable, just something fresh, like out of the box, And I think it's a good way to start with Ziggler, AJ Lee, and Big E Langston.
Right.
It's a good starting point where if you want to start this stable, you can.
Yeah.
And you have the star power there between Ziggler and Big E Langston, even though Big E Langston, is a little, he just talked, who knows how he is on the ring.
Right, I gotta say, I do like his potential. I do like what I see from Big E. Again, and that's me. I've never seen him in NXT or anything, but when he talked, like I said, he sounds okay. He's got a voice that actually goes with his big physique, and I would like to hear more from him. Yeah, I was getting worried there for a second because for a few editions of Raw and SmackDown, he would just stand there with his arms crossed. And then when Cena is getting ready to take the pin, then he would interfere. And I feel like are they not letting him talk because the sound of his voice is off, or I don't know. It's I like it. I like Big E Langston. So what are your thoughts? Are you going to tune into SmackDown?
Yeah, I'll watch it. It's like I said, I just want to see how Del Rio won, and see if he got the crowd reaction to be the babyface of what WWE wants to see. And like I said, it's nice to see him being a face.
Right.
I
am interested in what it'll do for WrestleMania.
Now that the stats changes WrestleMania now.
It changes the whole picture, because what I thought was going to happen was Big Show would probably lose it at Royal Rumble. or Elimination Chamber, either or. And then the person to beat him would probably have been Sheamus.
Okay.
And then you have, Orton win the Rumble or something.
Now this is where...
But now, Del Rio's thrown into the picture.
That's what I mean.
I don't think Big Show will be in the picture come WrestleMania for the title.
Oh, definitely not.
I think he'll be out of it. He'll probably be in some other match. I don't know. But I gotta wonder, is Del Rio going to be champ going into WrestleMania now?
Oh, okay.
Will he be involved?
No, that's true. It's now you say like...
Because either way, now he's going to be... You got to believe he's going to be involved with the Elimination Chamber.
Oh, he has to be now. But now they want... Like I said, they've already talked. They want Sheamus versus Orton for the title. Okay. Now, how do you take the strap off Del Rio now? He just won it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's... I guess the only way it could happen is Del Rio loses it immediately at the Rumble. Either Sheamus or Orton win the Rumble. And then the other person will win the Elimination Chamber, and eliminating Del Rio in the process, thus getting rid of his rematch clause. And then that would, but that seems too quick to get rid.
It is because you just gave him the title.
You're throwing Del Rio into the picture, and then you're taking him right out before WrestleMania. It doesn't make sense to do that. Granted, WWE doesn't do a lot of things that make sense, but that especially makes no sense to throw someone in the title picture and then take them out right before Mania.
Oh, definitely.
I just don't see
that makes
happening.
No sense. Which I like to see Del Rio now as a babyface into the title picture.
Yeah,
because it's a good way to get the Latin American people to watch.
I would like to see how he performs, because his match with Edge 2 WrestleManias ago for the title, it was pretty early in the card. That was his first WrestleMania match. Kind of forgettable. It probably would have been more memorable if we knew Edge. That was Edge's last match. It was a fairly short match, if I remember correctly. And I would like to see Del Rio in the picture once again, see if he could prove himself at WrestleMania. It's just something to think about. Will they give Del Rio another opportunity to main event or be in one of the main events of WrestleMania?
No, that's true. Like I said, it was just like when I heard about him winning, I was kind of shocked. Like, I guess Show did something, or Show got hurt, or Show did something wrong, or Show came up positive. It was just, like I said, it caught me off guard, like a complete swerve on what SmackDown was doing.
Absolutely, yeah. And I said on one of our previous shows that I wasn't aware that the match made between Del Rio and Big Show was a championship match. And it wasn't. It wasn't. Apparently the match was altered on SmackDown to be a title match. Okay. So that's why, I thought I missed that in the announcement. And
you were correct about that Edge Del Rio match at WrestleMania 27. It was only 8 minutes.
Yeah, I thought so. Because I went into the
match.
11
minutes, sorry.
And I knew Edge would win because he had a cast on. And the joke is, between me and Rob, is that if you have a cast going into WrestleMania and you're the face,
you're winning.
You're winning. The heel is going to go after your injured joint or whatever, but you'll win. You'll overcome the odds or whatever.
A lot of people are wondering that why WWE signed El Generico. One of the reasons they wanted him was because he speaks a number of different languages. The feeling is that he will come in handy as an asset for the international markets. Generico has canceled so many events and it will likely head down to development soon. There's a feeling among some within WWE that he will no longer wrestle under a mask, but that is not confirmed. Now, I'd leave the mask on him.
You would? Okay.
I would.
Now, does he have... I can't remember. Does he have a complete, Sin Cara mask, or is it like Rey Mysterio?
It's like Rey Mysterio. In a way, it's like Rey Mysterio's.
Because I know they did away with Del Rio's mask.
Yes. Because he was supposed to be masked.
Yeah, I believe he was Dos Caras.
Okay.
And when they signed him, they just did away with the mask. Del Rio was just, whatever. Okay, I see his mask now. I guess, you can see the eyes, the mouth. Those are
So it's not like Rey Mysterio's, but it's you could put a comparison to it.
Yeah.
You know, he could actually talk if you wanted to.
They'll probably give him a cooler looking mask.
I like the way it is now.
No, I'm not saying I don't like it, but WWE might want to, make it. They'll probably alter it. They'll probably give him a new one or something.
A lot of people I like this sign. I think what Triple H should do is, as I'm reading this, he's interested in more top indie guys or other indie stars. There are a lot of indie stars out there that should be in the WWE, I think, but...
Well, they can't do what they did with Kara.
Yeah.
They cannot do what they did with Sin Cara because what they did was they signed him, and they just didn't seem to have anyone else on the roster who was comfortable wrestling his style.
Yeah. So and plus you had to wrestle with that blue light.
Yeah, the mood lighting. Right?
Yeah, I hated that so much.
I don't understand that. But, again, it just goes back to, I guess they're trying to accommodate Sin Cara, but I don't know how...
But see, this is where they did, like, they brought up talent, like Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Punk, Bryan. Look what they've done with them so far.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose are on the rise with the Shield, but look what they did with Punk and Bryan. A lot of people said, "Oh, they're gonna be mid-carders, or they're gonna be this, they're gonna be that." Sorry for you smart marks out there, but look what's happened to them. Daniel Bryan, world champion, CM Punk, WWE champion. A lot of people said, "Oh, they're gonna do nothing. They're just gonna be mid-carders." Well, I guess they've proven you guys wrong already. So, good for them. And I see more in the future for Bryan.
We rag on the WWE every now and then, but there are moments they do
stuff right.
There are some gems, and I do believe Punk and Bryan was one of them.
Yes.
And I would like to see it again at some point.
I think we will. It takes time.
Maybe a reversal of roles. Have Daniel Bryan be the face this time, and CM Punk can be his
normal self.
What he is right now. Yeah.
So he says he's the best in the world. Just continue it, Yeah. But I still think Daniel Bryan's the best wrestler right now. WWE
I believe so
has
too.
Right now. So, like I said, just an opinion. A lot of people say CM Punk can still is the best right now, but I think, like I said, I just give it to Bryan right now. So that's just my opinion. CM Punk work based right now is doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, he's doing
his role. Job. But a lot of people hate it. A lot of people love it. I love it just because you can't kill what you built already.
Yeah, I think it's just in the sense of do you like long title reigns or not?
Yes.
That's just what it is.
And basically, if you did that, you'd be doing what show losing the title. Mm-hmm. That'd be like if Punk lost the title to Ryback on Monday. It's like you just killed everything you built. Mm-hmm. Going into the Rock match.
Yeah, you couldn't have that.
And now that, okay, obviously Punk would want a rematch and Punk would win. Mm-hmm. You still take whatever you lost. You can't do that again.
Yeah.
Even if you gave Punk the title back, it means nothing now.
Right.
At one point it meant something, but now it means less,
I will say this, it does seem like the WWE title itself is benefiting from this. It seems to have a more prestige in it now. The only thing that needs to change is the belt itself.
Yeah.
Come on, why is that still out there? Why are they still using that belt?
It's questioned.
I don't get it. It doesn't even spin anymore.
No.
It's just the design. It hasn't spinned for a while.
No, I don't think it'll ever spin again, to tell you the truth.
No, because it was an odd thing where a lot of times it would end up upside down or sideways, and it would just look awkward.
A lot of people question that if Rock wins, okay, what do you do with the title?
Right.
There's no title figure on Raw, or there's no Rock has it, but obviously he's doing other things.
Yeah.
Unless he's at every Raw on Monday.
But I don't see him being on every Raw, but I do see him starting to show up more frequently.
He has to.
Maybe every other Raw could be a possibility. I don't know.
Because then
I'm sure there will be a few via satellite ones, and everyone will poke fun at that, as we should. It is funny, But I do like to see these types of things going on. I do like to see this title reign. It's something different. Again, I just wish they would change that belt. Just get rid of it.
I think it's time for a new title.
I thought it would have been perfect if CM Punk did it.
Yeah.
Because if he really does believe he's the best in the world, why not have your own title design?
Yeah. Oh, true that, definitely.
You can't stand Cena. You hate everything he represents. So why are you carrying his belt? The belt he brought out there. It doesn't make sense.
I mean, I like to change the Intercontinental title. I mean, I thought this title right now was beautiful. Mm-hmm. I'm glad they brought the old style back. I like the old title. I like the old title belts they have. Like, they had the WWF titles. Back then, those titles were pretty cool. You had the old Intercontinental title. I hated this Intercontinental title. Not the one they have now, not the white one. The old one.
Okay.
I hated that one. It was plain. It was just plain, It didn't, like the Intercontinental title that the Ultimate Warrior had, it was all like yellow. I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay.
I think this title right now is beautiful. I think it's the best title they have right now. I thought the World Heavyweight title, it's nice.
Why I like the World Heavyweight title? Because it's just it looks plain from a distance, but I like it.
Yeah.
It looks like it means something because it's just pure gold.
Yeah.
If you look at that, it looks. I just like the retro look that it has because I don't know if it's the exact same design of the title in WCW, but it looks a lot like it, and I don't know. I just like the look of it, and I hope they don't change that one.
No, I hope not.
Unless they unify the titles.
Yes, again, but if there's one title I'd like to see get changed, it's the WWE title. But at the same time, you can get rid of that, but keep the World Heavyweight title and let that mean something.
Yeah.
It's been held by Ric Flair and all these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's the one title they didn't get rid of. It was in WCW. Okay.
Yeah.
That was the WCW title at one point. I just see it's a nice title from range. At one time...
Well, was it the WWE title, or did Eric Bischoff just bring it in? And I know he handed it to Triple H when it debuted.
You're right on that. I'm not sure. I don't know. No, they had the other title, the Attitude Era one.
Which one was that? Was that the winged belt or?
No, not the winged belt. I'll show you in a second.
All right. Well, I mean, we're not gonna be able to show the picture. I mean, right now. I mean, you guys could just Google Attitude Era belt or whatever it was called, but. Main point is we want the title changed. I've wanted it ever since, I told you guys I hated Cena back in the day. But I don't hate him anymore. I try not to hate anybody. It's just, I don't need that right now. But I respect the guy. And, the Attitude Era was more of a circular belt. I got it, WWE and Champion in big letters. Globe in the middle. A very nice belt. I like that too. I really do. I even think when they unified the title, the WWE title they used, I believe, in 2002. The one they used right before Cena changed it. That was a nice belt too.
Yeah, I know. I like that one. I like this title. I've always liked it. Then we got the one Lesnar held, which is another one I like.
That's the one I'm talking about. When they unified the belt, they had another championship belt with an eagle on it. I did like it. I liked the shape of it. It fit around the waists really well. It just looked like something that meant... It looked like it meant something back then. And I have this Sideshow belt that's still around. I mean, I thought it would be like a Cena exclusive. I thought once he dropped the title, someone else would bring back the old belt, but they just kept it.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it anymore. It was cool when Cena had it.
I know Edge changed it.
Oh yeah,
he changed it, but it was still a spinner belt, all right. And then Miz allegedly changed it. I think he just made the WWE thing upside down, right?
Yeah, that's it. He just switched it and made it.
That counts. But that's what I'm saying. I think it's run its course for a long time already. I mean, just do away with it already.
I mean, at one time you had the U.S. title, that was the spinning belt.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, Cena had it. Now you brought back the U.S. Now I like the way the U.S. title looks.
That's what happened, though, because, the U.S. title is the same as even before Cena changed it. Because it had like a bit of a triangular shape. Cena won it. He turned it into a spin. Actually, Cena didn't change it immediately. He did keep it the way it was for a while. Then I believe he won it back from, was it Carlito? I think it was Carlito he beat. Then he changed it. And then JBL blew it up.
Yeah.
JBL took the title. He blew it up because I believe he lost it to Orlando Jordan at the time.
Okay.
And I want this belt blown up too. I don't care who does it. Just blow it up.
Just blow it, right? Yeah. That's I think that's a wrap for today.
Yeah.
Ending a little early, but tune in tomorrow with Rob will be back. We'll talk about more of WrestleMania coming up, WrestleMania 29. There's more talk about tomorrow that we're saving for tomorrow, but tune in tomorrow. I'm John.
I'm Ant. Take care, guys.